Can you build your brand while still in your 9-to-5 job and do it ethically? Yeah, you can. Hi bloggers, welcome back to ABOH TV. So as you build your brand or your business, you want to be ethically available for phone calls and meetings with clients whilst you're still in your 9-to-5. But it's really hard to schedule evening or weekend appointments when everybody involved has such full work days. Today's video is a really interesting conversation because I know not everyone is okay with using the 9-to-5 to work on their online presence, which I totally get. So I really wanted to talk about this today. Before we dig in, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I upload new videos nearly every single day of the week, and I'd love to see you around for the next one. Well, first of all, this is a really tough one because we're talking about ethics here. And if I was your boss, I would not be cool with you doing your own thing on my time. It's just like if you were a business owner, you wouldn't like it if your VA was working on their own business while you were paying them. It's just not cool. But luckily there are some different tactics you can use to get around this. You could play the different time zone game, so you could target different people or different customers in various different parts of the world. I'm actually working on a piece of content at the moment on the concept of time hacking, and there's a concept where you can compare the hours in your day or the tasks in your day to rocks in a jar. It's like a college professor metaphor. So he fills up this jar with all of these rocks and says, hey, look, the jar is full. And the class says, well, yeah, of course it's full. Then he puts in little pebbles within the rocks and says, well, now it's definitely full, isn't it? And the class just aren't catching on, and they say, well, yeah, it's gotta be full now. Then he pours in sand, and that fills in all the gaps. And then he pours in water. But the argument is that your most important tasks, your day job, everything else, are those rocks, those big rocks. But there are still those little gaps in your day, those 15-minute gaps. Maybe it's your drive to work, or maybe you spend 5 to 6 hours a week driving in between different meetings. And maybe if you don't have any phone calls to make whilst you're driving around, you just waste that time by listening to the radio. Considering we have podcasts now and the podcasts that are out there, that just seems like the biggest time waster in the world. You may or may not have that same amount of time in your current day job, but that would be a perfect time to do phone calls. But the argument is that those sand and water tasks are the little tasks throughout the day that you can fill in. But if you're stuck in your office from 9-to-5 and people can hear your conversations, it's going to be really awkward for you if you're working on your own thing or taking client meetings on that time. You know, it might be that you have to record your new podcast episode in your car on your lunch break, and people do that because that might be the only bit of time during their day that they get. And if this is a really bad sticking point for you and you're building a business, then maybe just for now you need to try and find a way to build your business and interact with clients that doesn't involve taking phone calls. I also think you have to really love what you do too. So let's say you're working 8 hours at your day job, and then in those sort of 15-minute breaks or 20-minute breaks when you might get a couple of tasks done, if you don't like what you're doing for your online presence at the moment, then you're probably not going to want to do those tasks. You might be like, well, I could just go and have coffee with everyone right now and relax because I've got to go back to work in 15 minutes. So I really feel like you have to love what you're doing if you're building your brand alongside your 9-to-5, or at least be able to see the bigger picture. And it might be that you have to realise that this is helping you to potentially replace your income someday. I also want to touch a little bit more on lunch breaks here, because while it's technically their time, it's also your free time. When I was working a 9-to-5 and building my business on the side, I used to use my lunch breaks like crazy and my time travelling to and from work as well. That is so much lost time for people. You know, you're sitting in the car driving to work, you could just connect your Bluetooth and answer a client phone call or listen to a podcast episode. And there's also your time before work, so early in the morning, and after work, so later on in the day. So if you're building a business and you need to take client phone calls, and those clients want to talk to you and consult with you and they want to work with you, then they will make it happen. And if you're a blogger on your lunch break, you might decide to finish proofreading and formatting a blog post that's going out that week. You might decide that you want to spend your lunch break adding all your pins to your Tailwind queue for the week, or you might go out on your lunch break and meet another blogger who's looking to do a collaboration with you. There are so many possibilities. Here are a couple of other things to keep in mind. If it gets to the point where you're building your business alongside your 9 to 5 and you can't cope with both workloads, it might be time for you to negotiate a flexible working schedule. This might mean that you go down to 4 days a week at your 9 to 5 and work at home 1 day a week, but it gives you that little bit of extra flexibility. Or you might want to negotiate a different work schedule where you work longer days at your 9 to 5, Monday to Thursday, and then have Fridays off. So you're kind of working this shifted schedule, but it still means that you've got this big chunk of time throughout the week to work on your brand. The transition that you go through when you're almost ready to working from home is so stressful, but so cool at the same time. But what you'll realise as well is that this actually frees you up. You might end up having 15 plus more hours a week so you can work on building your brand. You know, you won't have to waste your time commuting to work and then home again. You know, you waste so much time doing that, and then you're wasting time on your lunch break in the office and all that kind of thing. So for you, this might actually become an opportunity, and this might happen in an instant or it might not. For me, it did. But for you, it might mean going to your boss and having a chat about how you can gradually start working from home. So it's probably worth it to at least ask, so you can find out if that's possible at your current job. But the most important thing is that you actually put yourself out there and take a risk and see if you can potentially work something out. Because it's not just going to come to you. It'll never be that easy. An extra 15 hours a week is a huge win. That is so much time that you would get back each week. It's crazy. 60 hours a month. That's gotta be worth it, right? So I guess that would be my answer to the question, how do you build your brand alongside your 9 to 5 in an ethical and manageable way? And I really hope that that gave you a few ideas to think about. Are you currently building your brand or business alongside your 9 to 5? I would love to hear your story and what you are doing to make that transition happen. So please leave your thoughts and comments below. That's all for today, bloggers. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe for more strategy solutions so you can get one step closer to a breakthrough. You just bossed it.